Very good evening, friends, and in this video we are going to learn about list rendering. Means when you have to render many elements in a list, like the ordered list, unordered list, then how will you achieve this? You may need a situation there where you have the array of elements. Then how will you display them one by one, or in a list in the form of, or in the form of a table? So in this video we are focusing on the array and the list, because how will we displaying the list of elements, like a group of elements? That is our target. So here I start. So this is my clean application. This is right now is not required here. Okay, so I go into a component folder, and in this component folder let me create a component called list component .js. In the list component I want to use the snippet RFCE, not the class but the functional component. So RFCE. So this is my functional component, and in this here I use H5 or you can say rendering a list of elements. Now save. I go into the component folder, like it's app.js, and in app.js here you see this is my outcome application root or DOM. So here this paragraph is getting displayed. Now after this, here I render my list component. So I type list component, this one slash, and this is the line number 2. You see it has automatically imported, so it's okay. Now I just refresh my browser, and then you find rendering a list of element. So it means it is working properly. Now I have a list of element. So there, here, just before the return I declare a list of players, const players, and this is the array. So here I type some name of the player, Sachin Tendulkar, and this is Sachin Tendulkar. Then I can take Saurav Ganguly, and I take one more or few more. Then I take, let me make this GSG, and then I have suppose one more, Rahul Dravid, and one more I can take, that is Virat. I take this time some footballer, so I can say Ronaldo, and then I take Lindan. Okay, so these are the name of certain players. Some play cricket, some play football, some play badminton. I want to display them in my list component. So when you have to display the array, you cannot display the elements like them. So you can, there is one way of displaying the array element, that here in I remove this from app.js, cut, and then I go into the list component, and there I put it like this. Okay, so I have my list component, and inside this list component I have array of names of players, and then I want to display them here. So I use paragraph, and then there I can just simply use players and the first element you know is called as box 0. Then I copy paste this, copy paste player 2, player 3, player 4, player 5, then 0. Next one index is 1. This is the array of JavaScript normal 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. So here this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now done. So I have done. Now I simply refresh the browser, and then you see that player names are displaying one by one, Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul, like that. Okay, so the elements are now displayed, but this is just the normal style of displaying the array of the JavaScripts. This is no big deal. This is not the way React should render the elements like that. So React uses the map of function just to work with that. So I'm going to use, and let me delete this part. I want it to render using map. So in the map function, suppose if I take a paragraph, or I can just take a paragraph only. Okay, then there you here, then I write, I have to use the map function. The name of the array is players, so players dot map, and these elements, since I'm displaying them, so they should be inside curly braces, so it should be like this. Okay, so players dot map, and then inside this you make one object of that kind, that is player. So player, and then arrow function, and then parenthesis, and in this parenthesis I will render the elements. So I will use h4 tag, and inside this h4 tag here, h4, I write in curly bracket just player. So this is done. Now you see the, look at the style. So here, let me make, so these two curly bracket are inside that I'm rendering this variable. So the players, this player is the name of the array, this player. So this player dot map, and then every element will be mapped into a player. So this will become player. So the first, this player will have the value of the first element, that is Sachin Tendulkar, and then second element, like that, and then I'm printing that player. So look at the style again. This is players, so you write players dot map, and then since the name of the list is players and every element is a player, so I have taken the variable player, this player, this one, this player. So the player, and then fat arrow, and then parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis I am writing h4, and then again inside the curly bracket I am writing this player. Now save this, and then I now see. So since I'm using h4 or h5, I think h4, that's why all these names are coming in the bold letters one by one. Now there is also another way, that instead of first, because this map function is mapping the players array into another array, and that is called the mapping. So I can map it first. So I can write here const players list equals, and I simply copy all this thing from here and paste it here. Okay, and then inside this curly bracket here I simply type this players list. So here I type players list. Okay, and then now I increase one more player to see the changes. So this player can be Lionel Messi. Okay, so now I save and refresh the browser, and there you see it's coming Sachin Tendulkar and all these things along with the Lionel Messi is coming. But now this is also for the smaller, when you have the few number of elements and you have to just display them in the ReactJS the rendering form. You can use this technique, but this is not a good sound technique of displaying the element. The best possible way of displaying this, that you create this rendering part where this H4 this whole thing is happening. This part I can give it to other component, like that component will manage the displaying part. Okay, so now before here I just change the style of the element here, and then I create the array of arrays. So inside these arrays I take this one. So first I create the one ID is 1 comma, and then the second element will be name of the player. Name is, then there I use this name is Sachin Tendulkar, and yes, and there I use some details. So in details I can write Sachin is a cricket player, and then okay, so this is done. So now I remove these components, and there I copy this ID, this whole block, Control C, then semicolon, Control V, semicolon, Control V, semicolon, Control V. So here ID I make it as 2, there I can write Saurav Ganguly, Saurav Ganguly. Then Saurav is also a cricket player. Saurav is cricket player, and then I have this ID is 3. So third element, this is ID 3. Name I can take as Lindan. Lindan is a Chinese badminton player. Lindan is a badminton player. Okay, then I remove this extra part because we are not making anything, we are learning this part. So this is box array is closed now. So now same thing, nothing more to do here. The only at the place of normal array I have array of arrays with the element ID, name, details. Then the second is also ID, name, details, then ID, name, and this is details, and there const players list equal to player. Now here, since this is not the one element, this is player has got information like the player ID, player name, player details. So here while displaying you can make it as player dot name, and then you can write player dot details. Okay, done. Now I refresh the browser, and there you see that Sachin Tendulkar ABD device should be and this is player details. Okay, fine. So now Sachin Tendulkar, Sachin is this is such, and after and these all are detail. This is detail. This is detail. Linden is a badminton player, that is also detail. Now I want, instead of using this here, I can make a new file that will manage the rendering task and that will manage how this thing should be represented. So I simply make it as a card.js. I'm just trying to make a card. So inside the card, again I use the snippet rfce. Okay, and here whatever I'm displaying here in this part, like this part, h4 part, this I cut from here and I paste it inside this. Okay, now I'm displaying this, so I can make it as li also. So this I make it as li, and this will become li, and in this part I have players dot name in one li, and in the second list I can use li players detail. Okay, so this is the displaying part. So this card.js is just displaying the thing. Now how to use this? So here at the place of this cons.players list player is dot map player, there I pass the object of card. So I will use card as the child element here. So card, and I need to import card here. So the card is already imported. Now I can pass the players as the prop. So here I write player equals curly bracket player. So I am passing player as a prop, and there inside the card.js, how this player will be identified here, there is nothing called player. So I will destructure the prop, and there I can write just player. So save and then refresh. You see that everything is coming. Now these bullets, you see, they represent that these things are represented in form of the list. Now suppose I'm not going to CSS part. Suppose here in the list.component okay, forget it. First let me go to this card part, and I make this as division, or it's already a division. So since these days a lot of divisions are being used, I can make this as a division. This is also division, this is also a division. So division, this is also a division. Okay, now save, and then if you refresh, now see the bullets are gone, because this is no more rendering of a list, it is just a rendering of a division. Now I want to use image also here. Suppose div. Okay, then what I do, that in this list component here I can take the fourth one as the image. So I can write image, and then I need to have the image. So where is the image? So I have created one folder. Now in the public folder I have created another folder called images. You see, this is images, and I have put two images. One is st.jpg and another is st.jpeg. So these are inside the folder public. Inside the public folder I have another folder called as images, and that contains the various images of these players. So my id will now be images. Here I take images and then slash. What is the name of that image? The name of the image is, I can check it from here, this is st.jpeg. st.jpeg. I'm typing somewhere else. So st.jpeg. Okay, same way for this player also I use image as and these should be in a single quote as a string. So here again images slash and then sg dot jpg. Okay, this is st dot jpg. Okay, so there I need comma. Okay, now this is fine, and inside the car.js here I write ing src equals then player dot image image, and then at the place of alt you can write alt is player dot name. Okay, and this is closing tag for the image. Now this is done. Save, refresh. So yes, you see the picture started coming. This is Sachin Tendulkar, this is the details, and this is only 2 images I have. Suppose if I want to add more images, so here I open a new window and there I type as Lindan, and here I go for images. Then yes, this one is better. So I save this image. Now see, I will save this directly into inside the public folder. Inside the public folder it is going directly. So my path is inside folder F, this React application, React tricks, in the public, in the images, and here I write lin, just lin because extension is jpeg. So this is done. Now this is not required, and then here you see lin.jpg is coming. Now I go into the card, it is a list component, and here I don't have the image for Lindan, so I write comma and then I type image is single quote image. This is the path of image, that is lin.jpg. Okay, now save. Oh god, so this is save, Control S, and then refresh the browser. Now you see the third image started coming. So this is the card. So it means now you see the card. Again I want to brief you here because this is very important for designing aspect. So you have a function component, functional component called card. In this card you are passing player as the prop, and then the player's name, player's details, and the player's images are displayed in this component, which is a division having 3 kids as the children, all as a division. Now from the list dot, from this list components I have a array of arrays called as players, which contains the ID, name, details, and then here using the map function I am mapping this array into another array that is becoming componental form player, and then I am passing this player as the prop, to the card component, and I'm importing the card here. And this is how this is done, and this feature is achieved. Thank you very much. Just subscribe to our channel and keep practicing class. Have a nice time.